Yeah, that's wishful thinking.
I think that we're all on the same team. How do I create a feeling of LA in Cleveland? And we represent Hot Wheels, Paramount Pictures. We obviously just did MGK Day, which was pretty cool. So how can we donate to the food bank for every Cleveland product, right? It should be what all can you be while you're growing up? So I'm not going to answer your question.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Wishful Thinking Podcast.
Welcome back.
As always, want to say thank you to all of our support. You guys are just showing so much love, and we appreciate every single person that taps in. We have a very special guest today, Kumar, the man, the myth, the legend.
Yes.
So before we get into it, I'm going to go ahead and give you some props. So he's one of Cleveland's most influential visionaries, an entrepreneur, investor, and cultural architect who's built an empire of ideas that touch fashion, food, tech, music, and art. From streetwear powerhouse Ilthy to the high-end dining experience Sora, from helping create Futureland to organizing MGK Day and the I'm From Cleveland Festival, he's been the mind behind some of the city's most defining moments. What started as a passion for building brands has turned into a career shaping culture itself. He's put Cleveland on the map in ways few others have, blending creativity, business, and community into something bigger than himself. Kumar, welcome to the Wishful Thinking Podcast.
I got to have you come with me on all my speaking gigs. I need to.
So, man.
I like that.
You just let me know, and I'm there.
That's good.
No, sweet.
So we want to kick it off from the beginning. I want to know, where did you grow up? And were you always entrepreneurial, or did that come later in life?
Great question. So born and raised in Little Italy.
Okay.
My parents came in the early 80s. So for me, I got to go to Holy Rosary before they closed down. My parents taught a case, so they would walk to work. So I had a really great upbringing on the east side. And it was a lot different back then. Now it's a lot more, posh, but it wasn't like that when I grew up.
No.
But, I think when it came to just my upbringing and my interests, my dad was a scientist, but my mom was into the arts. Mm-hmm. They were both creators to some degree, and I think that that's kind of what happened for me too. Is I fell in love with the idea of creating things, creating moments, brands, things like that. So entrepreneurship might not have been the answer I saw when I was in 20-some years ago, but right. I think it was the idea of just being able to create cool stuff. That was really what struck for me.
100%. So who were your early influences, like people you looked up to, and what?
It's funny. I was just thinking about this on my way here because in high school, I was taking AP computer science. At that point,
Wow.
Steve Jobs and Bill Gates were blowing up. In the early 2000s. This is before social media, and I was obsessed with this movie called Pirates of the Silicon Valley. And it was a story about how Steve Jobs and Bill Gates actually got their start, and you got to see them learn programming and start their businesses. That movie's definitely not on Netflix. It's pretty old.
Wow, Pirates of Silicon Valley.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone really talks about it.
No, I've never heard of it.
It was a great biopic at the time, and it was those early years in my high school years where I realized you could create things yourself. So while I'm not necessarily programming today, it was something that I was interested in. Building and creating. So. That idea of creating something really stemmed into creating events and parties, building brands, manufacturing, really just trying to find ways to build with business.
That's fire. That's awesome.
So when did you first feel the drive to want to put Cleveland on the map a little bit? And what was that medium that you did that through?
I think that we're all on the same team. We love our sports teams. We love our t-shirt companies, right? But similarly, we should also love our people. And collectively, all of us here are part of the ecosystem, the team of Cleveland, Right. We're very fortunate to have a great mayor here. We've got a renaissance that's in front of us. So all of us should be thinking, how can we make our city better? How can we make our community better? I don't really know when it started to work towards civic endeavors and building here in our backyard, but I think it was just one of those things where we're from here and we have the opportunity. Why not?
Right.
It's just part of who we are, right? That resilience that happens from creatives in Cleveland. I think the most defining moment for me was my time on Cleveland Hustles, which is almost 10 years ago now. I did a TV show on CNBC. We were number 2 on the network at the time. It was much like Shark Tank. But the difference was not only were we, meeting business to invest into, we got to see them be built along the way.
Really?
So I was one of the sharks on the show.
That's cool, actually.
10 years ago, and almost 10 years ago, and LeBron picked me on the show. So it was kind of a cool moment for me, and that was 2016.
Who were some of the other Sharks on the
Alan Glazin. He's done a lot of great work. He backed Cleveland Bagel on the show, which is doing great even up until today. Captain Beauty was another, and then Jonathan Sawyer.
Nice.
That's fire.
Yeah,
that's cool. I didn't know that was a show that existed.
Yeah, and it was nationwide. So it was one of those things where, it got Cleveland on the map in 2016 of all years, and that was a huge year for us for the finals.
Wow.
So, I was in my early 30s.
I was a sophomore in high school.
It was a long time ago. So it's like this work has been done not just in the last couple of years, but I've been doing this for about 20 years.
Gotcha.
So it's just one of those things that it continues to compound, and I'm looking forward to see where it's going to go the next 20, 30 years of my career.
The future looks bright.
Yeah.
What was the first spark moment where you realized you could shape culture, not just business?
That's a good question. I think that when it comes to entrepreneurship, specifically in the creative and branding space, a lot of us really look for feedback from our community, even if it's a startup, right? We want to know what the community wants, right? But I think there's a flip side where if you're a culture creator or a tastemaker, you also have to just tell them what to do, where to eat, where to shop, where to go,
right?
How to feel, what to listen to. And that's part of the intuition of really good brand strategy. It isn't just kind of only taking feedback and working off of it. It's also like intrinsically knowing what the community needs even before they know it. Sora is a perfect example. During COVID, I came back from LA and I was like, you know what, there aren't really great places for not only sushi takeout, but a vibe. How do I create a feeling of LA in Cleveland? Cleveland doesn't know they need that yet, but let me see if we can pull that off. Right? So it's almost like predicting something prior to the necessity of it, and that to me has been my spark that you refer to is how do we think about those things really and play in that discovery mode,
I use the term visionary when I describe you to others, and I like that whole ideology behind that. Did you go to college for an entrepreneurial realm, or were you more did you go to college?
Bro, I wish. Entrepreneurship didn't really exist when I was in school. I graduated 2008 from Ohio State in economics. So I do still think that I have an analytical background, that comes in that space.
Definitely plays into what you do.
But with my work, even outside of branding, more marketing, I look at what I know in economics, which is understanding trends and analytics and consumer behavior, which marketing is almost the opposite of that. Marketing is telling people what to do and shifting that, right? So I'm a big believer in education, but with the work that I've gotten to do, a lot of it has been, just the love of being a student of the game, when it comes to entrepreneurship. So I didn't have YouTube to look to back then.
Oh, YouTube University.
No, it came out when I was like 22. So I was like a little late in the game. Yeah. So for me, it was really just trial and error with a lot of things. And, I think that it was around that time, right after college during the recession, 2008, where I was like, you know what, I think this is the path. I have to build something. Yeah. And if I'm going to, that's the way to really, again, uplift your communities, uplift your team members, and really create a life that you're looking for, is that level of true wealth or ownership.
What a better place to do it in the city you're from, where you already know people.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's a good thing that people at home should take note. If you want to build something that's larger than just a simple brand, do it in your hometown where you already have a name for yourself. You already have connections. I think it helps to aid the process a little bit.
It does. Yeah. I think that in my 20s, I spent a lot of time kind of exploring, failing, and learning. I moved to LA in my early 30s. I always kind of thought that the grass was greener somewhere else, and I needed to leave because there was a ceiling here, I'm not saying I regret that by any means, but I do believe that people should travel and learn. So glad to bring my talents back. I've been back now for officially 5 years now. And I just hit go on everything that when it comes to Cleveland. And, when it comes to building in your backyard, that's a big topic of mine. Because I really do think that like you could do a lot of good when it's the place that your origin story is, I
agree.
We see that with a lot of other founders, is that there's that passion, but if you can rally the troops to get everyone behind you, it also becomes very easy because, last thing we want is someone to build a business and then move away. Just like we don't want to see our athletes and artists leave too.
Exactly.
And when I tell my friends like, hey, don't shop with this company. You're just paying, you're giving your money to another state. The idea is you shop local. You know, you support local, you support people, because every dollar that goes into that local favorite business of yours actually gets back into your economy, right? And that's a big deal.
Major. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big deal, you know?
But that helps to build the future of that city and make the city a more robust city.
Yeah.
So 100%. So I want to break down
Underdogs, right? So
yeah,
it makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I want to break down some of your brands. So let's start with the Underdogs. Is that your marketing agency?
It is, yeah. Me and my partner, DJ Evie, Eric Vida, we've known each other for literally 20 years.
Nice.
We kind of grew up in the club circuit. I was learning how to be a promoter. He was just starting out how to DJ. And we kind of had a tie between Cleveland and Columbus. So he was here, I was down there. You know, years pass. We worked together in a lot of ways, and we just decided to kind of team up on an agency. And it's been about 2 years, and we represent Hot Wheels, Paramount Pictures. We obviously just did MGK Day, which was pretty cool. So, you know, it's really fun to be able to play in the branding, marketing, experiential space. What's really interesting is that for me, it's always been about my brands or my work. But this time now, I'm basically a gun for hire. My team is available, you know, where we could actually do the same work we do, the same DNA with our internal brands for our external partners. So it's been pretty cool to be able to, you know, teach the next generation of creatives that we work with to like execute the way we did.
Yeah.
And, you know, really level themselves up too.
Nice.
Yeah.
So shout out to Ilthy. We got our Ilthy shirts on.
Yeah.
Let's start with Ilthy a little bit.
Yeah.
Where did the idea come from? And it starts for I'd love to help you, right? That's what it stands for.
That's actually been kind of the evolution. So I can give you guys that quick origin story. Ilthy started, the founder was Glenn Infante, very, very talented artist here in Cleveland. I got to know him in my early days of graphic design and event promotions, and that was 15 years ago.
Wow.
So we met, I fell in love with it. I invested in the business. Now I get to lead creative development, collabs, product development, marketing, e-com, all that fun stuff. So Ilthy's original moniker was I Love the Hype. That was during a time when we would make a lot of pop culture, sports-related tees. But we've kind of grown up a little bit now. You know, we're in our teenage years. And now we've really thought through the idea of a new acronym, which is I'd love to help you. So again, going back to you know, how ironic that's almost fits perfectly.
It's crazy.
Right? How did we not think about this sooner?
I like that.
It's not just about wearing good, it's about feeling good.
Yeah.
So we try to ensure that we worked with great community partners, social impact programs, murals, food banks. The idea is that you're actually wearing something that can go back to a good cause. A lot of our projects have been doing that. We have a mission to raise $1 million by 2030 for various causes, many of which are going to Cleveland, and we're already a quarter way there, which is awesome.
Congrats.
So when it comes to all our collabs that you get to see and the projects, there's always this component of how can we donate a percentage to the LeBron Foundation? How can we donate to the food bank for every Cleveland product, right? We're always thinking about that because, again, it's not just about looking cool in the club, but like how can this product that we make actually give back to our own society? You know, the artist community is very close to us as well. So, and that's obviously Glenn's kind of background too. So artists on the streets and a lot of our slogans also have an impact to those communities. And we try to make sure that it's not just some model we hire, but we're actually telling their story through Ilthy too. So, you know, Ilthy is a love letter to our community, you know, and I think that whether it's the artist community, whether it's, you know, our local musicians, we're always thinking about how can Ilthy be a part of those communities, because the power from our e-com, our social media presence, the fact that we've been around as a brand, it's not just us, but it's everyone around us too, you know?
Excellent.
Yeah.
What is one of your biggest collabs, one of your favorites, and a moment that stands out for you within it?
Biggest collab to date? That's tough. I mean, obviously locally, Cleveland Browns probably it would be a big one. We were on billboards and in the stadiums. That was pretty epic. That year too, we actually collabed with all three teams.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I remember tweeting that like years ago. I'm like, one day we're going to try to collab with all teams, and here we are doing them all in the same year.
All three in the same year. That's crazy.
Which is pretty dope. But we've gone even beyond that. You know, Columbus Crew with the MLS, Atlanta Hawks. We did a collab with them earlier this year. So we've really branched out, which is cool.
You had the collab with the LeBron James Foundation, correct?
We did that too, yeah. And we have another one in the works for next year.
The Cheese It collab.
Cheese It, yeah. We're getting into CPG.
Made with 100% real cheese.
I love doing collabs with brands that are in the food space. There's something fun about it. There's a novelty with those. We have a couple more in the works as well. One's going to be dropping later this year.
Excited.
But yeah, I think overall my favorite collabs have been the gaming space. I'm a big gamer. We did Sonic last year. We did Tetris's 40th anniversary, which was cool. We got one more up our sleeve later this year, actually next month, which is exciting. I could probably just tell you guys because it's by the time this airs.
This will air October 12th or October 19th.
Okay, so by then it'll be public, but we are dropping a collab with Street Fighter.
Oh,
which is going to be cool. So we're going to do a massive tournament and really pay homage to our love for Street Fighter.
That's cool.
And obviously the movie's coming out next year too. And we got 50 Cent, a bunch of great names. Jason Momoa's in it too. So we'll be jumping on that hype too.
That's sick.
Wow, that's smart. That's about to be
I'm going to need a t-shirt. I'm going to have to buy some of those.
Street Fighter.
So let's transition into Sora a little bit. And Sora's great. It's got such a wonderful vibe in there. What inspires you to step into the restaurant world? Because that's a big switch up from marketing and doing the clothing brand.
Yeah, definitely. You asked me twice to open a restaurant. I'll probably say no. It's not my first attempt, to be honest. So going back to Cleveland Hustles, we did actually open a bar on the show.
Really?
Which you could see if you watched the whole story. So it wasn't my first attempt. We actually opened a bar where Ninja City is now in Gordon Square. Yeah. So that was actually our bar. It was called Old City Libations. So I had my first step into not only starting a business, but watching it kind of fall apart. The battle scars to me are things you can learn from as well.
Very important, yes.
Very important.
That was my MBA, you could say, of losing money and figuring out, where do you go from there? How do you pick yourself back up and start again? So Sora is kind of that next chapter for me where, I really want to create something for our city that embodies the things that I love. I love Asian food. I love sushi. I love a good vibe. I love late night food. And I want an atmosphere that reminds me of something that feels like it's a out of Cleveland experience, like as if you're in Miami or LA, To me, I knew that when I were to come back to Cleveland, how am I going to shake things up? And the first thing you do is invest into a restaurant or build a project or a concept that you're in love with, because I think that that's a great, case study of, your work. So when you look at Sora, I'm not an operational guy, and I give credit to, the lead partners at Slarner Group who do that. But what I am good at is the creative, the experience, the color scheme, the logo. Those are the things that I do because that is my work. So for me, I know how to make it look nice and pretty, but I'm really fortunate to have great partners who could hold down the fort.
Yeah, it's a great restaurant, and you are right. You don't feel like you're in Cleveland when you're eating at Sora.
That's awesome. So that's kind of how you differentiated yourself from the crowded food scene in Cleveland, was to kind of bring something that's not there yet and put it in there.
Yeah, totally. I mean, all of my brands, all my work is largely very disruptive. If you were to look at things like MGK Day or Futureland or Sora, that's that DNA of the work that I get to do. Is I take ideas from big cities, I take ideas that I have inside, and I kind of work with my team to come up with them and launch them as quickly as you can,
Because why not have it here?
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's exactly, again, going back to what I said, sometimes the Clevelanders might not know they need it yet because someone's got to expose them to the idea, and then they can kind of choose if they love it or not, But if you continue to push and you continue to innovate, you continue to disrupt, that's how great moments happen,
So you mentioned MGK Day, and that's where I want to go next, and then we'll transition into a few others.
Yeah.
MGK Day, it's big for the city. What was that like, and where did that idea come from?
I can't take the credit on the idea. It's Mayor Bibb's vision to some degree. He commemorated when Colson sold out the Brown Stadium, and that was a defining moment. Not only is it the first artist to ever do it, but it also happens to be one of our own and from Cleveland, Right. It was a historic milestone for his career to be able to be on that stage. And I remember going to shows or even doing shows with MGK, and we only had 40, 50 people show up, So now we're at a point where there are stadium shows. So what better way to commemorate that into turning into a charitable activation, year in after that. So we even though it's called MGK Day, it's really actually more like a week long of a celebration, not just of Colson, but of all of us and how far we've all come the last 16 years now, and it's one of those things where it's a feel-good moment. It's a way for us to get back together. And then obviously there's the layer of, again, community where we ask for school supplies and donations to the food bank and really just get all our community partners involved. So This last one was phenomenal. We had 30,000 people show out, which was cool. It was so it was so big the floor was shaking.
Oh yeah, we were there.
Cool.
Watch that vlog if you guys are watching this. We had a vlog where we got into MGK Day. My brother and a bunch of my friends do a bunch of security all over the city.
Yeah,
every club, everywhere. So we were fortunate enough to come see behind the scenes a little bit before the mass crowd of people came. And you were absolutely right. I just remember Wild Boy going off and the whole floor shaking,
like a trampoline,
and he stopped it.
Yeah, and we had to stop it because that was a safety concern.
We
were aware of that, so we knew that because we have to work with engineering and public safety.
Right.
I actually had to work, every day on the permits. So I'm very involved because my work is, part city but also part entertainment. So yeah, it's one of those things. It was kind of a cool moment, but also a little scary. But so far, last few years have been great, no issues. But it's just one of those things like. It's one of these kind of events that we do. Even I'm from Cleveland and whatnot, Futureland. These are things that people are going to remember 10 years from now, And it's these moments that I think will help elevate us into that national spotlight.
And all three of those events are so new. I'm for Cleveland being first annual this year. We just did a vlog on that. Thank you for inviting us. It was a great event.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I just love the ideology of bringing the team and vision together. We're from Cleveland. Everybody, the love that you felt at that festival was a different level than anywhere else, and I think the city needed something like that.
100%.
We really need to support our Cleveland artists. They don't get on enough stages, and they don't get those platforms. Me being someone who's done club events and concerts back in the day before I went to LA, I remember when we were all together in the same room. This is pre-Spotify, almost early YouTube. This is when the Kid Cudis and the MGKs came out, and this is when we had that Cleveland culture. At some point, there was the democratization of music, right? Where you didn't have to be from Cleveland. You could just launch it on Spotify, YouTube, or SoundCloud, and you could blow up, right? They didn't need to know where you're from. But Cleveland has its sound. Cleveland has its culture. Cleveland has its vibe, And you could tell who's from Cleveland and usually who's not, right?
Yeah.
But just by how you talk to them.
Absolutely.
So when it came to the I'm from Cleveland Festival, which was through the Transformer Arts Fund, which I'm one of the lead artists that won that project, that grant, it was really important to think through what do Cleveland artists need today, and part of it was let's all get us back in the room. Let's figure out how we can get you on a massive stage. How can we film it? How can we ship that out to national labels? How can we remember that Cleveland can have its own sound? So while that was a moment for us, there's work to continue to be done after that. It also goes back to our Cleveland venues. We are a music city. We have to do a better job of that. All of us. Yes. All of us need to know who our local artists are. The way we love our, again, sports teams and clothing brands. We should really rep our musicians the same way. They need us, That's the only way we're going to help them, get to that next level. So they could become the next MGK,
Excellent
1,000%.
job.
Yeah.
Perfectly executed.
1,000%.
Lastly, I want to talk about Futureland because I feel like, to me personally, this is the brand that gets the least attention, though not to insult it because it is a big event. And I went to the first one and the second one. Why do tech, culture, and art belong in the same conversation?
Great question. I think that they all connect to some degree. You can't have good tech without good UI. UI is art, right? You can't have good art, especially when we talk about graphic design and AI and 3D without tech, So to me, while it might be hard for us to become smaller Silicon Valley, what we can do is think through how tech and art and culture can be combined. Even the software we use, whether it's Partyful or Eventbrite, requires a little bit of both. It requires experiential marketing, good branding, good tech. That's part of culture. Right. You know what I mean? So to us, when it came, again, it was Mayor Bibb's vision to create something like Futureland. And, he embodied that idea in a central mission that we ended up turning into an annual conference. We looked at what we need to do from a tech perspective on how can we get more startups here? How can we get more capital here? How can we educate our community on how to become tech enabled? How can we turn our manufacturing businesses online? How can we start to export our products, beyond Ohio? These are the kind of questions I'm trying to solve for with Futureland, right? And you'll notice that everything that I do, I'm trying to solve for something, right? When it came to our mission, we are now like a nonprofit. We've got our new conference coming out. We just dropped Early Bird yesterday. So for those listening, we got tickets available for November 20th at MoCA. It's all going to be based around AI. But again, think about this. Where we are today and where we want Cleveland to be in 20 years matters, right? Things like Futureland could become the stepping stones for the next generation and not have to move away because we're building our economy here with tech, Cleveland Clinic's in our backyard. Sherwin-Williams is in our backyard. They need tech businesses to support their companies, right? Their organizations. So to me, Futureland is a path towards that. And I'm excited to see where it's going to go.
Excellent.
That's amazing.
Now, my portfolio of brands, we could do this all day.
Yeah.
Arora Ventures is my, parent company. And again, my mission's always been about building teams, moments, brands, and really just bringing them to life, And while I would say my portfolio, again, is largely disruptive, it's a lot of things that you could touch, eat, feel, experience. That's important to me because that's kind of what we do. And that's why much of my work is so public, I think that's something that I enjoy. And I hope I could never stop doing this, It's just continue to plant seeds and flowers all over our city, I
love the passion that you display. I do. As a serial entrepreneur, it's not easy.
No,
it is not. And we'll touch on that a little bit later, but I do give you respect. But typically somewhere in the middle, we like to do a halftime report where Hadley leads the charge, and he will give you 10 rapid-fire questions that could be completely related or unrelated.
Okay.
You can answer them to any length, and you can also decline to answer. And I just sit here and commentate. So, you ready for the halftime report?
Let's do it.
Let's kick it off. You've built brands, teams, and moments. What has been your biggest failure so far, and how did that change the way you build today?
Okay. I'll say it's a tie between my attempt with Old City Soda, which was on the show. That was a pretty public failure for me. So I felt that was a tough one because I was living in LA. I couldn't help the business that easily. So I watched that kind of fall apart in front of me because I really rely on the entrepreneurs I'm investing into to kind of, figure things out. So that definitely hurt. And similarly, I think that happened with Trust Foods as well, also in the CPG space. But that one was more so on me where I, wanted to kind of create something. I was doing it during COVID. Worst time to launch a business, guys. But I needed to learn, So even though it was I don't want to call it a regret, it was things that happened. I think that not everything is meant to make it. And sometimes those ideas can come out later on in another way,
I'm a firm believer in you never fail, you just learn.
Yeah.
And
100%.
I'm sure you learned a bunch from that. And I think that's an important message for the viewers at home is go out there and try. Trying is better than doing nothing because even if you fail, you could still pull valuable tidbits and tricks from that to then implement later in your life. And I'm sure the stuff you learned from the failures has propelled you further.
Oh, yeah. And those potholes are important because, again, I call them potholes because they don't knock you out, right? You keep going. But, one day we're all going to hopefully become grandparents with grandchildren on our lap. And you want to tell them all the stories of what you did. Yes. Some of them that worked, some of them that didn't. Because, again, if it didn't work, you could pass it on. And I think that when I talk about businesses or business failure or struggles or challenges, I think that you can learn so much more there. Nobody needs to know how you won. Tell us what you've lost.
Right.
And I think that I often will ask successful people things that they would have avoided because I want to make sure I can dodge those, right? You learn a lot more that way.
Excellent.
It's amazing.
Give me a harder one.
Besides your own, what's your go-to Cleveland food spot?
I like that you said besides your own because I would have said my own.
I know. That's why I know it's
my favorite restaurant is Juneberry.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like more brunchy, but yeah, I mean, I kind of wish you could make a reservation. That's what makes it hard, but I love Juneberry. I'd say I'm a big brunch guy as a whole. I like Lecco Coffee. It's probably my favorite coffee shop. 27 Club, which is my neighbor. Have to give them some credit, right?
I'm a big Cordelia guy.
Yeah,
this guy loves Cordelia.
I love East Fourth as a whole, but I don't live there anymore. I'm not downtown, so it does get kind of tough to park and go there.
Right. 100%. Yeah, you got to Uber if you're going.
Palazzo for Italian food. Have you ever been there?
I have not been there yet. I heard about it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Cleveland. That's an underrated thing about Cleveland is how robust our food scene is.
Yeah,
100%.
It's comparable to like a Chicago or New York City. It truly is. I don't think people understand that.
Yeah,
I think Cleveland does a good job of all the taco weeks and the wing weeks of really putting the Cleveland food market on display.
And you know what? I was thinking about this. It's not just we don't love our food, but we love the concept of community around food.
Yes,
we love to get together. You know, like if you lived in LA, you're all far apart. It's a little harder, but Cleveland loves our food because we love our people. And we do that over food, you know? So I think that's why it works.
Damn, dude, you're good. You've been doing this for a long time.
It's deep, isn't it? That's really what it is.
No, deadass. So this is a good one, and I was curious about it because this kind of propels your day. What's the first thing you do when you wake up that is most important to you to set your day?
That's a good one. I can't lie. The answer I would tell you is kiss my wife and hug my dogs, but I'm really looking at my phone. I know it's not good.
checking business.
Yeah,
huh?
I'll just check it, just a quick scan of what text messages I get, you know, at night. Is there any a key email I got to pay attention to? It's not the greatest habit, I'm fully aware, but I think it's just kind of the default that we all do, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, I think there's ways to improve. You know, I think there's a point in time where, you know, if things are working, I might not necessarily be ready to jump out of bed, but I look forward to going into work. I look forward to seeing my team. To me, it's one big adventure. So I think part of the reason why I do it is also like I want to see the next episode, you know, the first thing you do is you look at your phone, unfortunately. But I definitely don't look at social. I'll say that. I don't do that. I look at email. I look at
more business than personal.
Very, very much like what's going on with the world that I need to know about.
Are you a make your bed every morning kind of guy?
I'm not, but my wife makes me do it. So
There you go.
There
you go. That's clutch.
I'm too abstract and too creative. I definitely do it, but you know, there's an aspect of me where I'm a business guy, but I'm still a designer at heart, you know? And I think that I'm the kind of guy that if I could, I would stay up all night designing and creating, but I gotta, you know,
that's awesome. Huh?
Also do the boring stuff too.
Yeah, it comes hand in hand.
Yeah.
What's one word that would define how your 2025 is going?
One word to define 2025. I think I'm trying to think of the exact word, but definitely I've been going through a lot of learnings. I just finished Leadership Cleveland Class of 2025 this year, which was amazing. It was just a group of 60 CEOs and just you know, high profile folks within Cleveland, and they've been doing this for about 50 years. So it was a course that I was in, which was awesome. And it was all about leadership and how we can really better our city, which is cool. And it was just an opportunity to get everyone in the same room, from nonprofit to sports teams, entrepreneurs, everyone in the same room to really solve not just ourselves, but like our organizations, you know. Simultaneously, I just finished the Transformer Arts Fund. So what you saw with I'm from Cleveland Fest was just one of many things that we had done from a community and arts perspective. So we did activations at City Hall with Artists Run the Streets. We did a mural out at Ridall Farms that commemorated and focused on Black maternal health. We did a project with Cleveland Marathon for physical health. So we were really thinking through all the different aspects of using the arts to help social impact. So it was told 8 activations. It was a lot of work. Yeah. But for me, it was like so much to learn in such a short amount of time. 12 months of learning about the community and the arts, and also learning how to be a leader. So to me, this was like kind of a pause with new projects and new business ideas, but it was an opportunity for me to like reset to get ready for next year.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Skip ahead a question or two. I want to be respectful of your time too. So
okay, got you.
Skip ahead a little bit.
We'll go. Let me get a good one. Here we go. If you had to explain Cleveland's culture using just 3 emojis, what would they be?
3 emojis. Wow, yeah. This is clever. A fire emoji for our resilience and the Renaissance that I refer to. I guess you could also say the chart emoji, where like charts upwards. You know, that's kind of cool, right? Okay. We just got a new WNBA team. Yeah. We got a new soccer stadium coming. Like, we're on the come up. Yeah. You know. What else? Emojis. Gosh, I don't really use a lot of emojis. I use a race car emoji a lot. I feel like I'm always in my mind like in a race car. That's just me.
Always moving.
No, I think definitely the fire and the scale I think are
going
cool.
up. That's what's up.
Pick one more juicy one, Hadley, and then we'll keep pushing here.
I want to do this one.
Okay. Do it.
Suppose you wake up in a world where you can only pick one of your businesses, just one out of all your ventures to run for the rest of your life. Which one and why?
Oh man, that like goes against everything, every fiber of my being. You know, I just recently had a talk a couple days ago, and I at Lounges actually, And the finishing statement was, it's not what do you want to be when you grow up, which I hate that line. It's all my parents ever said. I'm sure they said it to you too. What do you want to be when you grow up? And you got to say, you know, a policeman or an astronaut, right?
So it's a question they give you every year in school.
Exactly. But that's not how one should live life. It should be, what all can you be while you're growing up? Who said you have to be one thing? Think about it. When you think of Leonardo da Vinci, he was a sculptor, a scientist, a painter, right? Some of our favorite artists also become actors, right? You could do more than one thing. You could do more than one genre. Look at MGK, right? I think those who do the most lead the most fulfilling life. So I'm not going to answer your question. Wow. Because I have a lot more to go, and I don't know what my true love is yet. I've got 20 more years at least, hopefully, in me of my career. Maybe what I'm doing today isn't what I want to do forever. And maybe I'll change along the way like we all do. So if you ask me one business today, I'd probably just pick Ilthy because it's fun and creative and I love product development. And Ilthy could be anything. Ilthy could be a cafe in the future. It could be a weed brand. Who knows?
100%.
But I'd like to say I've got a lot more in me, and I don't know if I'm ready to stick with just one.
Oh, I think that was great. You have the ability to decline, but you expanded on it.
Yeah,
so great.
Sure.
You know, that's good.
And I hope that applies for everyone. You know, if you're not necessarily content with life, maybe you could try to do more. And it doesn't have to be in business. You could be, and I think of my father, like he's a chemist. A chemist would make a great chef. It's the same idea, ingredients, and guess what? He is a good chef, and he loves to do it, and that's so fulfilling for him. So you don't have to just be an accountant. You can learn to do other things too. So I think that's a way to lead a fulfilling life, is try to be more than one thing.
There's studies,
be multidimensional.
There's studies that if you learn new skills, it pushes your brain development further rather than as you get older, it can decline. And there's a show on Netflix or Hulu or something like that where Chris Hemsworth wanted to learn to do drums to figure out how to sharpen his brain, not just his body. So within 2 months, he learned how to drum. He went from never touching a drum set to playing with Ed Sheeran live in front of 70,000 people in London.
Oh, I saw that. That's right.
Yes, that's good. And I think that's a perfect example of just always keeping your mind sharp, learning new skills, and there's never an end of the road.
You know, when it comes to entrepreneurship, sometimes it gets a bad rap, you know, but really it's an opportunity for self-discovery. You know, some people choose to work out as their form of self-discovery. Some people do yoga. Some people read books. For me, I am so perfectly content with just getting deep on business because it requires me to like go down to the darkest depths of who I am. And am I capable of it? Right. I'm going to space in my mind to some degree. You don't just come up with things like Sora out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And plus when you factor, you know, what the investment is, who you need to bring on, you know, these are not easy things to do. And for me, that's my form of self-discovery, you know, and I feel like I've got a lot more to go. And I think that that's what makes it exciting. I'm actually looking forward to like where I'm going to go in my career, you know, and I think that's what really gives me that drive to see how far I could take it.
Nice.
That race car emoji, right?
What's going on, Wishful Thinkers? Just want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors of these videos, Sound Precision Entertainment and Cufflink Media. Thank you so much for letting us use the studio and the equipment.
Sound Precision Entertainment is a Cleveland local-based wedding DJ company. Cufflink Media does photography and videography as well. So if you're in the market and you're looking for any of these services, whether it's weddings, outings, parties, or anything of the nature, make sure you reach out to them at spedj.com and cufflinkmedia.com. So
that was worded so well.
We'll transition into the latter of our interview here. So I would like to know, what's your favorite MGK story?
Story?
Yeah. Do you have any fun stories, funny stories?
Yeah, I mean, more recently, stories? I would say, you know, it's 2017. I remember watching his, Kelly Vision on YouTube, and he was on his tour bus playing Nintendo Switch.
Those Kelly Visions, those were good.
I was watching. I was like, oh, dang, I didn't even know he liked Zelda. And I just remember that. It was just one of those things. And at some point, it was like Sora, we were having dinner, and I had a Zelda sword in the glass, and I like pulled it out and showed it to him. I was like, check this out. And, you know, we always kind of had that connection where we would talk about Zelda here and there. And it was, he was in town. It was like May of, I think, 2023. He was here premiering his new movie of actually the stadium that we're talking about. And I asked him, like, are you getting Breath of the Wild on Switch? It comes out tomorrow. He's like, dude, my Switch broke. I didn't even know it's coming out. So I went to the store at 8 a.m., waited in line, grabbed it, and brought it to him the next day.
Wow.
Which is on my Instagram somewhere. And that was for the first game. So I did it again. actually like a couple weeks ago.
I saw
MGK
that.
Day.
I saw that one.
And that was the second time I got him with the exact same thing, which is kind of cool. So
that is awesome.
kind of an ongoing joke, I guess, in some ways, where it's like I'm just like his Santa Claus, just showing up with Nintendo products. I'm his plug now. So I think it's kind of a cute, fun little, story we have today. But
that's wholesome.
yeah, it's 15, 16, some years. I've known him since he was 17 now. So I'm just so proud of how far he's come, and he's really kind of a shining star to remind all of us on all that we can do, in our own fields.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
If you could collaborate with any artist or entrepreneur right now, who's the dream?
I've never gotten that question as far as entrepreneurs. I guess recently I just got connected with the CEO of Mike's Hot Honey. He happens to be based in Columbus, which I thought was really interesting. And I really think about, my time when I went to Ohio State and how I could do more in that market. And that was pretty cool. So you might see a partnership or something happen with Mike's Hot Honey. That one's kind of on my mind right now. And then as far as collabs, I guess with Ilthy, I love the gaming space. So, I would dream to work with Pokemon or Ninja Turtles. That would be kind of fun.
Ninja Turtles would be so gas. Ninja Turtles is my favorite.
Yeah. Last Ronin, I don't know if you've heard of it.
I have it.
Yeah.
And they just dropped another one called The Lost Files or something.
Yeah, I saw that. But, it's going to be a live action movie. They're doing a video game.
Video game is going to be
so much more darker. I'm like, this is the stuff that we are into now that we're also growing up with our favorite beloved characters. So, a Last Ronin Ilthy collab would be pretty cool.
That would be insane.
So those are the kind of things I think about. But next year we're not going to be pursuing as many collabs. It's time to get back to a little bit of our roots. I know people are looking forward to that, but we're going to be creating a lot of really fun internal kind of IP of our own now next year.
That would be crazy.
So you coming in, you're a little bit different than some of our, and this is no disrespect to any of our previous interviews, but I know I needed some thought-provoking questions for you. So I thought real hard, and I came up with some good ones. So when you're building movements like Ilthy, Sora, Futureland, etc., how do you decide what kind of people belong on your team? Is it more about raw talent, or is it more of a cultural fit?
It's a little bit of everything, I would say. I wouldn't say it's strictly just talent by any means. I look at two things, heart and hustle. If you've got the heart and you're willing to have the hustle, you could probably figure everything out. Talent can't get you that far. If you care about the mission, whether it's Ilthy or any business, and you're willing to work towards it, right? To me, those are the only two things you need. I don't necessarily need to look at a resume, Yeah. And I think that goes to any business, any mission, any charity. If you care about it and you care about those you serve, you care about those you work with, and you're willing to work on yourself, you're in a great place. That's no different from me. If I love it enough, I will fight for it. So I look for those kind of fighters who can kind of embody the mission of the brand, but also embody what I believe, Right. So I think that's why I said the word before, we're underdogs, right? I think that when you hustle in that manner, that's what I look for. And that also works for disruptive brands or creating the next product or whatever it is. Like, are you willing to go down to those depths that I talk about and, build with me,
100%.
With so many ventures running at once, how do you personally balance vision, execution with your own time and energy? You have a wife, you have dogs. How do you balance all that?
It's funny because I was late today, which isn't usually my style. I think that a lot of people think I'm constantly working, but I'm not, believe it or not. I work from home on Wednesdays intentionally so I can get a break. That makes it feel like it's really just 2 days a week in theory, right? Monday, Tuesday.
Today's Wednesday. Break. You're not working from home right now.
I am working from home, yeah. Yes. And then Thursday, Friday, I'm back in the office. So my Thursday also feels like a Monday because I get back in action, right? So it's a really interesting model to operate that way. But also I have such great partners across the board. I'm never necessarily the one who's running the show, right? Sora is a perfect example. I could be nowhere without Fabio and his team to lead the charge. I may have just planted the seeds on how it looks and how it's promoted and marketed, but I have great operational partners who, really can help push, our missions. So I try to stay in that space of being kind of a minority partner. because I know my strengths and weaknesses, and I'm definitely not someone who is meant to operate. I'm meant to build and plant seeds.
Very good.
Yeah.
So I want to know about the future of Kumar and all your endeavors. What drives you now compared to when you were starting out?
I think when I first started, it was, early 2000s, and I was so naive. I was so excited. I would say yes to everything. And if I could go back in time and talk to him, I'd be like, you got to slow down a little bit. You can't be excited on every opportunity. Don't get me wrong. I still get excited. Yeah. But now I'm a little bit more strategic, right? Again, I do have a family. I do have my own existing projects. I can't just say yes to everything now. Right. But I think that, it's that passion, not the spark, but a long, hot coal that exists that excites me. And I notice that everything I do compounds with another. So the beauty of my portfolio is that they are almost cousins to each other. They share data with each other, right? I'm from Cleveland, Ilthy, Sora. We're all in this one big ecosystem or petri dish that help each other, So every next investment, every next project joins that family of brands, and I think that's what gets exciting. So for me, it's like I'm thinking about what is the next brand that's nothing like what I've done before, and how will that complement the family,
right?
Wow.
You do that.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I've got some new stuff in the works for 2026.
Excited to see what you have in store.
Yeah.
So what is next for Kumar, personally and professionally?
Personally and professionally, the next couple of months, I'm taking a break, a well-needed recovery time. Leadership Cleveland, the Transfer Arts Fund, it was a lot. So, we're entering the holidays right now. Cleveland gets a little slower. So nothing too new for me. The next couple of months, I'll be traveling a lot, see my family. Come next year, though, I am looking into some new projects. So I can't share everything just yet. I don't want to jinx it, but... I'm going to be continuing the work in the civic space, supporting our community, hopefully continuing these workshops that I've been doing to really give back, and then hopefully launching another brand or two.
So we tell all of our guests we're newer and we're growing rapidly, actually. We always have an open invite to our guests to come back at a later date just to catch up, kind of like a time capsule.
I would love that, yeah.
So, Hadley, hit him with your famous last question, and then we'll get into our final
segment. Last question. After everything's all said and done, you've accomplished what you've wanted to accomplish in life, and this is it. What's one word that you want people to remember you by?
I'm not a big believer in legacy, actually. I think that, for me, it's more so let's just do good while we're here. We don't need to linger as ghosts to some degree. If I have to say, what I would want to leave behind, again, it's really just giving back, and ensuring that there is things in place to remind Clevelanders to give back, support your community. I think to me that would be what I would want to leave behind, is the idea of just continuing to, support your backyard, building your backyard.
Excellent.
Amazing.
So the last thing we have for you here, this is called the Complete Life's Little Instruction Book. I got it from a Staples. A lot of our viewers don't know what Staples is. You do. There are 1,560 line items in this book, instructions on how to live your life. So I would like you to give me a number between 0 and 1560. You'll find it in this book, and then we'll talk about it.
Right now?
Right now.
Should I open it and find it, or I just...
Live. Give me a number, though. What number are you choosing?
724.
Cool. Go ahead.
Okay.
So you see how each line is individually numbered?
I see it, yeah.
Yep.
Wow, I almost opened right to this right page.
That would have been crazy.
724. Ready?
Yeah.
Some things need doing better than they've ever been done before. Some just need doing. Others don't need doing at all. Know which is which.
Wow.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
It's good. It kind of reminds me, for me, because I have to think about the macro, not the micro. I can't work on it, otherwise I would go crazy. You just got to work on what's important, and others just let them pass. Someone else can handle it for you, right? And you got to know the differences between them. So I actually kind of live by that.
Yeah, I was going to say
that's
kind of a spitting image of how I feel like you handle yourself in your business, because some of the things need doing, some of them need doing a different way, right?
Yeah.
So shout out to that book.
Very cool book.
Cool.
The Complete Life's Little Instruction Book.
It's a great book. It's really great. Every episode we have Every episode we have a different number if the guest provides
Has
it.
anyone said the same number twice?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yep. Some people will go with their favorite number, which is like 7, 8,
which is
whatever.
normally,
We've had a lot of 8s.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited and very glad you didn't choose 8 or a similar number.
1.
So 724 is good. Actually, when Bobby Boucher came on, he was like, he said number 8, and he ended up reading 8 lines.
Love Bobby.
Which I was like, oh, that's cool. We get 8 of them at one time.
Go.
Bobby was a great dude. We had a great time with him.
We got to do one more. Let's get one more.
Oh, yeah?
Is that cool?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
You can't say no to me. What does this go to? What's the max?
1560.
We'll do 1111 for my wife.
Ooh.
That's
An
all right.
angel number for you.
That is, yeah.
I like it. Kumar likes this book.
I do.
It's a great book. The book's fire. It's a good table book.
It is. All right, it's almost there.
I'm gonna pull a Kumar and MGK moment, and you will be receiving one of those books from me.
There you go. All right, 1111, Liz. Oh, this is not a good one. Oh, man. Report unethical business practice your city's Better Business Bureau.
Oh, man.
Oh, man, that's a good one. 1111, there you go.
There you go.
11.
I mean, that's still important, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're right.
I'm a believer of ethical business. I have to be able to sleep at night
Yeah.
knowing that I am doing my clients right. Because in addition to this, I have a few other businesses, and you have to do right by your clients.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, I can't sleep at night.
For sure.
I'll stay up all night thinking if I
Yeah,
potentially
it can
wrong
create some
somebody.
anxiety.
Yep.
Yeah, that happens to me if I don't put the cart back in the cart, shopping cart thing at Target or something. Like I gotta,
That's deep.
I gotta return the cart.
That's I mean, that's a base level of
karma,
human
right?
there.
Yeah.
So, well, Kumar, man, great conversation.
Excellent.
I feel like we could have went for another hour and a half.
Oh, yeah.
Again,
No,
wanna
this
be
is great. I'm so glad I made it.
Want to be respectful to everybody's time. So, where can people find you if they wanna search you up and look at some of your stuff?
Easiest is my website. It's just kumar-arora.com. It's kumar-arora.com. I try to update that with, blog posts, news, stuff I'm up to. My brands are all listed there. So kind of serves as my hub. But then socials, all the same. It's just KArora007. So Instagram, Facebook, MySpace, Friendster. You can find me.
MySpace.
007. I was wondering, you like James Bond?
Honestly, I made that account on AOL when I was 14, and I've never changed it.
Really?
Talk about branding, right?
Yeah, that's great.
And I've just kept it for the last, I don't know,
It's sweet,
35
though. I like
years.
007.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make sure to put all of your ads and all your brands in our description below.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming on. We had a blast. So make sure you guys check out him everywhere that he does stuff. His clothes are incredible, as you can see. A lot of really great bands in Cleveland. Watch our other podcasts to see 2 of his other festivals that we did. But without further ado, thank you to everybody who's always tuned in and watching. Like I said, our numbers are skyrocketing very rapidly, and we could not be more excited. And we thank everybody for watching. But anything else you want to add?
Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you do not miss anything. And stay tuned because we got a lot of stuff coming.
Wishful thinking for life. We'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Good. I don't think I stumbled.
Not at all. I was being a little quiet, but that's because I'm like soaking up everything you're saying. It's just like packing my head with knowledge.
Cool. Most people, I think, get really confused with my work because I do something. I have so many different companies, and it's really hard to explain it.
We do our homework over here.
Yeah, but in general too, it's like, wait, you do that, you do this, you're part of this.
It's hard to juggle it all, especially in conversation.
Yeah, it's tough.
I mean, that's just people's general reaction to when you do so many things.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I'm sure people call you crazy, right? I get called crazy all the time.
Oh yeah, honestly, and that was something I was even thinking about just bringing up because I was listening to a podcast on my way here. Like, if Steve Jobs existed today, in today's society at our age, he'd probably be doing AI and crypto.
Oh,
He
yeah.
would be told he's crazy. The way he was crazy in the 80s and 90s, building a personal computer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
My favorite quote is, innovators aren't always celebrated at first.
Yeah, you're totally right. But it's something to think about. It's we should be looking at those who are crazy and push them.
It's like, what would they be doing now if they
Yeah.
had the opportunity to do so? That is a good way
Yeah.
to look at it. Because, like Steve Jobs, he would definitely be in the
He
AI.
would be-
iPhones would
If
probably
Steve
be
Jobs
so
existed
different.
today and he worked at a company or he worked at Microsoft, he'd be booted out for being egotistical and not fitting the norm.
Yeah,
He would be
absolutely.
too disruptive and be like, fuck all this. I'm gonna go create OpenAI. or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same for like LeBron. You know what I mean? Like if LeBron started in the league now, he'd be a very different person.
Yeah.
You know? So this is one of those things. I feel like at least in Cleveland, if we want to keep it real, I don't know if we celebrate our entrepreneurs the same way we might celebrate our favorite restaurants. I think that's something that should change too.
Yeah, it actually sparked it. I had this idea a little bit ago where I think that similar to like MGK, similar to Entrepreneurship Cleveland Festival, we need a Cleveland's Hustler Network is kind of the name. I thought maybe it's not a good name, but just an entrepreneurial based festival where.
I mean, that's kind of what Futureland is, but it's more tech.
It's more tech,
right?
I think like something where it's entrepreneurial based of any industry, where we just come out and support one another, and even have something where maybe we have a Discord lined up or something where anytime anybody launches something, it's kind of like a no say given thing where we just support one another, we follow each other, we like each other.
It's actually not even hard to do. It's just,
I know.
The hardest part is maintaining it.
Yeah.
But you need like a few people, almost like a committee to like be committed
Yeah.
to the idea.
My vision behind it would be like similar like a festival setup. You have some food vendors, you have some local musicians, local DJs, people like Bobby Boucher, local food vendors, food trucks, and then build your own little booth as your own thing. Pop-up shops for artists, even construction workers. If they want to come and show face, everybody needs a landscaper or a painter, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think
that or you connected to like workshops and seminars. So it's like, hey, how can we learn from each other too?
Right.
It's easy to like vibe out, but like how can we all talk about AI, or how can we all like figure out what's the best software to use, Like there's no place to go to do that.
Yeah. Cleveland Hustle Network.
Coming
soon.
On that note, I did reference Cleveland also. So LeBron's team, they're trying to do some stuff for it. CNBC's trying to come back to do some stuff. Talked to Matt Carter about it. I have a meeting with the Cavs on Friday about it. So they're trying to do a big thing for Cleveland also. I don't know if you want to be involved. I mean, it's a perfect time to launch that idea.
I would love to be involved. Kumar, I would love to be involved. I have a burning passion for Cleveland, and I'm just trying to stay as busy as possible. I have these two podcasts. I have a real estate venture business that I do, launching a property management business, and then I'm doing some subcontract work and landscaping work. So,
how old are you? You don't mind me asking?
26.
Man, I wish I was 26. I invested in Ilthy when I was like 25.
Really?
That was 15 years ago. I'm almost 40.
Yeah. No, I mean, I respect it because...
And Ilthy was nothing back then.
Yeah, I mean, I respect it because I see the growth. I've followed Ilthy and you and your brand since like 2016 when I was in high school, and I just liked Ilthy. So I respect the growth, and honestly, it's like I could see growth in myself long term across multiple different industries. So if there's any way that I can get involved in something like that, I would be extremely happy to do so.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's even an opportunity. Like some of the episodes that you do next year for the 10-year anniversary are like the castmates. So if it's other investors, some of the folks that won the money, people from LeBron's camp, like maybe we could, or you could film at their place.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. And it could be part of like the whole Cleveland Hustle's marketing plan.
That'd be really
and
cool.
Behind the scenes, we'll try to do a data play because we're trying to build an entrepreneurial network. Every email we get can go to that Discord or whatever.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea. Not at all.
I think there's room for it, and I think Cleveland needs it.
Yeah.
Because Cleveland's a hustling city. It really is. And I just want to see more people shine.
Yeah.
Truly, So.
Love it.
Have you